All right. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to Thoughtful Conversations. I'm Monica.
I'm Janelle.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about dating.
Ooh.
This is a topic that we cannot shy away from. However, I think it's so important to talk about like what's working, what's not working for us, but also just like help the listeners out there too.
Absolutely.
So for one, online dating is a scam. There's not pee in the dating pool. Okay. I don't know who lied to y'all. However, I do think that however you date is super important. And I think that there are 5 ways that I keep that really do help in the way that I date. And so the 5 things that I look for is where they're at emotionally, where are they at mentally, where are they at spiritually, where are they at physically, and where are they at socially. And so I can break them down for the listeners out there so we can really help them.
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing is where they're at emotionally. Are they in tune with their emotions? Okay. I know that's kind of difficult to maybe ask on the first date, but think of your dates as collecting data, right? There are interviews to see who's the best suitor for your life. Okay. And dating is something that I think people have misconstrued as like there's talking, there's dating, there's getting to know, there's going steady, there's all these terms, right? And I think that dating is just going on a date. Okay, like going on a date with somebody. Okay. Now dating exclusively can be like, yeah, we're boyfriend and girlfriend. But like dating, I think you do have to date in order to get to know that person. And so going to their emotions, like seeing and asking those hard questions or those thoughtful questions, rather, of like, hey, you know, like, are you in tune with your emotions? Like, when was the last time you cried? Right? Do you believe in therapy? Okay. Okay. Well, like, how do you express your emotions? You know, are you a person that's more like easily angered? Right. Watch how they treat the waiters. Right. Watch how they treat people that they're driving and cut them off in the road. Right. See how they act. Right. And then ask the questions.
Yes. I was just going to say, what they say doesn't line up with their actions.
That's good.
That's the key thing.
Yeah.
So that's definitely really great. I love those 5, and that's something that should be literally like you need to have that written down at the table and look at it. Like, hey, I mean, you know, really just because those questions, like, I don't think we really ask enough questions in this society. I think we're so just like caught up in infatuation. It's like, oh my gosh, she's so cute, or she's so fine, da da da. She got this badonkadonk and all this stuff.
It's the badonkadonk.
Like, but it's like, okay, that's all fleeting. That eventually it won't be like that, you know, the same way. Or if something comes up in y'all's relationship where that person is no longer like that physically, you know, and so that's why it's so important to ask questions. And I think if you don't know questions to ask, you know, at this point, you can ask a friend, you can Google it, you know.
Phone a friend.
Hey,
phone a friend.
I don't know, like, I'm so overwhelmed by how attractive he is. I don't know, he makes me nervous, you know, and that happens. So I think that that's a big one, is to ask questions. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy to ask those questions, because they don't know you. You don't know them. And how else are you going to get to know somebody? And I think also don't be afraid to be like, if it doesn't line up and maybe you're really attracted to them, but the questions are not lining up with how attractive they are. Yeah. It's okay to be like, you know what, right now in this season, I don't think we're in, and that's so hard. I think people just want to be with someone that just be like, they look so good. So trying to tell someone it's not going to work because that it's just, we're not on the same page. And some people will date someone just because their aesthetics. Yeah. So we really have to get a hold of that. We have to mature in our dating lifestyle. We have to grow. We have to.
We have to grow, guys. The second thing I wanted to talk about is just like dating on Hinge. Okay, so how ghetto? Let's get into it.
Thank God
I went on probably the worst date ever on Hinge. Okay, and literally this man, he told me that he was running for the mayor of Shreveport and he lived in Irving. How you gonna run for mayor of Shreveport but you live in Irving? First of all,
virtual mayor.
Then basically, like, he told me, oh, I'm using my grandmother's address. Okay, well, how is that gonna work? Because don't you have to run a campaign in Shreveport? So then I asked him, okay, well, how are you funding your campaign? He told me, oh, well, I used to work for a research institute in Dallas. Okay, but like, how are you funding it now? And he said, oh, I'm realizing that, you know, I have a lot of network, right? I have a lot of donations that I'm bringing in from the fire chief, the police chief, and people in the community that know me.
In which state? Irving or Shreveport?
Right. And so then I'm like, okay, well, all right. So he's bringing in donations, so he has no direction, right? So red flag, guys. Like, if a man has no direction, right? Like, how's that gonna work out, right? Where y'all gonna go, right? We're like, well, I'm 29. Right. And I think that, you know, like, I would like to be married one day. And like, you do have to really evaluate these men and really see, like, okay, like, are we just dating to date or are we dating for marriage? Right. Where are we headed? Right. And ask yourself these questions, like, where are we headed? Where do you want to go? Right. And does this man align with where I'm trying to go? Right. And in the date, the reason why I was the worst date ever. So so there's red flags already. They're waving in the air, right? And then after that, I asked him, okay, well, like, you know, what does your social circle look like? So I'm asking the questions. I'm trying to get the 5 factors, right? Where he's at mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, right? Socially. He goes, oh, I'm a loner, right? Oh, okay, well, like, do you have any friends back in Shreveport, right? Where you're from? It's like, no, I've never had friends. Another red flag. If a man ever tells you that he's never had friends, how is he going to be in a relationship with you? How is he going to, like, the basics of a relationship is a friendship. Absolutely. If you have no friendships and there's no longitude in your friendships, how's that going to work? Never going to work. Right? There's no relationships to compare this to. Right. So then I asked him, what was his relationships like in the past? Right. You want to know, like, his past a little bit of, like, okay, did this man get out of a relationship yesterday? Right. Does he need to heal? Right. And I asked him and he told me he got out of a relationship 2 months ago. Right. What? Okay. Well, how is that impacting you today? And I asked him that and he told me, oh, okay, well, we lived together for 8 years. 8 years. Right? Another red flag. It's waving. Any man that's been with a woman for 8 years, listen, that has to be some type of weight to that. Right? Yeah. But people are breaking up with each other, like, left and right. It could be 10 years and they still breaking up with each other. Right? And, like, really evaluate, like, is this man gonna waste your time? Yeah. Is he wasting people's time out here? And I asked him, why did they break up? And he told me that she was paying all the bills. She got tired. For sure. Then I asked him, did you pay any of the bills? And he said she knew what it was when she signed up. I've been telling her that I was running for a campaign. How long has he been running for this campaign? Sorry, it's wild. It's wild. 8 years. The math is somewhere. The math ain't mathing. The state, the math is not mathing, listen, leave them where they're at, okay? Because the flags be flagging, and then it be our friends and ladies and men and fellas that you guys see the red flags and you think it's a carnival. You think, oh, it's not red, it's orange. It's not red, it's pink. Right? Look at the lights. I love the lights. More lights. Freaking Delulu. Delulu. But really, like, evaluate, like, but really what broke the camel's back was that, like, he paid for food, you guys, and then he gave this woman his card. It declined. And he looked at me and said, can you pay for it? You know what it is? You know what it is. That's what he Wow. Oh, Lord. Watch out for the scammers out here. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he could have been homeless. He could have been destitute, you know? So hey, I paid for it and I told him I had to go and that was it. That was the worst date I've ever been on. And I'll never go on a date like that again. But really honestly, ask the questions, you guys. Even like you can ask questions even before the date. You know, like don't be afraid to like take those opportunities to ask those questions. And, you know, obviously it comes through trial and error. Like I'm telling you like the worst date story ever for me, but like, hey, honestly, you do have to like put yourself in a place where you can be seen and to date. However, like it's trial and error, right? You're gonna have bad dates.
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna have bad dates.
It's gonna happen. It's inevitable. And in that whole, you know, in the whole process of dating, like don't get pressured. Don't feel pressured in the society of like, you know, you're getting older, your eggs are drying up, and all these things that people
because they'll tell you that your clock is ticking.
You're on a time clock, and we understand, we get it, we understand scientifically. There's these clocks here, there, but when it's time, literally, it will happen. It's going to happen. It will happen so naturally, and it won't be forced. You don't have to do anything extra crazy to woo them in. You know, I think some people would be like, you know, you got to play this game where you don't text them for this many hours and you back. It's like, I don't want to do none of those games. I just want to be super fluid, natural, and it will be that way. Yeah. As you are continuing to build and make sure you set up those boundaries, as Monica was saying, like laying those foundations, asking those questions and everything, it will happen. So don't feel rushed or pushed in this dating world. Yeah. Just like, you know, live your life. The Lord knows what your desires are. He knows the right timing for them. You know, in this season of your life, if it's not the right time, you're not going to date anybody. You're not going to be, or you may like meet people and date them, but I think also in that same aspect, that might not be your husband. Yeah. I think you might just remember like this person, this man or this woman, they still are, you know, in Christ, you know, as you are, if you're a believer and you're walking that path, then you need to look at them as just a friend. It's a person that you're getting to know, and eventually it can move forward into that type of relationship for romance and for love, deeper love. So I think like build that friendship. Build that friendship. That's your friend. That's your brother in Christ. You know?
So what about you? What about your dating life, huh? Miss Janelle. Listen, my friend is a fitness trainer and I just know that they be in her DMs. They be in her comments.
All of that is
she be trying to mind her business and get her glutes right. But listen.
Yeah, I mind my business and get my glutes right. That's like
I like that program. That's all they see is the glutes.
I'm stealing that. Mind my business and build my glutes, okay? But no, like I really am just in this season of where I am intentional. I want to be married. So that is obviously that's there, but that's not my identity. That's not the end all and be all. There's so many things that are incongruent with marriage that are just as important.
What was the last worst bad date you've been on?
So this was a little bit after college. It was a blind date.
A blind date. Don't listen. If your friend set you up on a blind date, you gotta really trust that friend. You got to. Well, you gotta trust that friend that she knows what you want.
And so that's a key indicator because this person that set me up was not my friend. It was my friends of a friend. But we knew each other. Wrong. That's where I went wrong. But you know, I'm all right. Let me see. You know, so went on this date. First indicator. He's like, "Hey, can you come pick me up?" I really
red flag.
Yeah,
he ain't got no. Why you don't have a car and you want to date?
Told me that his car has been through some things. It's in the shop. Okay, cool, whatever. All right, where you live at? You're in Dallas. Okay, you're like in deeper Dallas. All right, I'll come. Went there. Environment was a little questionable, but I'm like,
the environment was shaky.
I'm here now. Let me just go ahead, hop in. Let's go. So we went to go eat. Through that whole process of eating, you know, he's just more so about himself, like worrying about himself. He was an ex-hooper, living this hooper dream life, still trying to figure out his hooping life, and just talking about himself. I'm like, okay, well, you know what, cool. Let's just get through this date. So made it through the date. You paid for the food. Paid. So
period. As he should.
Thank you. That was good. Now he's asking me, okay, I will say part of the day he did start asking me questions about like my financial status. Like, you know, like he's like, oh, I see you got your nice car. I'm like, my car is just regular. Like I can't remember exactly what I had, but I think it's like I think I had like a Nissan. I don't know. It was a car that worked, and it was a decent car. But he was just like, "Oh, you got this car," and he's like, "You look like you're stable and established." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm doing well for myself. Like, I'm okay. I just graduated college. Thank God, I got a job. Just the basics.
Yeah.
I have a job and a car. That's and I have a place to stay, and that's a blessing. But that just really impressed him, and I feel like in that same conversation, he was like trying to put the pieces together to see like, oh, can she take care of me?
Oh, wow.
Maybe she can fund some of this. Maybe she can fund me.
Oh, wow.
And so fast forward, and this kind of connects the dots with those questions he was asking me. He was like, yeah, he texted me. This was like the next day or something. He was like, yeah, it was so nice to meet you, whatever. So my car's still in the shop. He started stating how much the car repair will be and how he doesn't have it. And I'm like, I don't know you, one. You're telling me the financial situation of the car. And I'm like, people usually don't go into detail, especially with people you don't know, like, about that. So I'm like, I think he wanted me to pay for his car repairs.
Wow.
And I was like, oh.
He thinks you're the auto man.
Yeah. He thought I was the bank to get a loan from. A loan that I wasn't probably going to be refunded. So he was like, so I was like, oh, I hope you get it fixed. Last time I ever talked to him, and never will do a blind date. I've never online dated. I was telling my friend that I did half a day of Tinder, and that was it.
That was it.
Nope.
That was it. And Tinder is really like just smashing and passing. That's crazy.
A half a day. And so during this time though, it was more of a platform that just came out, and this was like right after college too. So everybody was like, get on Tinder. My friend was like, get on there. You're gonna find you a man right away. So I got on there. It wasn't necessarily bad. Like, it wasn't, I mean, this guy, he did try to talk to me, and like we had a conversation. I just was not for me. Online dating is just not for me. And hey, it works for some people. I know people who's got married. It's a beautiful love story.
Yeah.
Mwah, hearts and kisses. But it's like, it's not for me, And so yeah, that was that. But in this season of my life, we're content.
We're content.
Content.
And that's what we want to get to, is be content in where you're at. Okay. Yes. I think that society, culture, our parents, family, they put enough pressure on you as it is. Be content in who you are and whose you are. And know that, hey, you have to collect your data, go on the date, be open, right? But know that, hey, if they don't meet your life, that's okay. There are plenty of people. Or God will send you somebody. And know that, like, it has not left you. You have not left the train. It's not too late for you. No. You could be, for the people that are 40 out there, 35, 30, 25, you're not too late. Okay? You're not too late, and you don't have to settle. You don't have to settle. Really pray about, like, who God has for you. Yes. And really just know that, like, hey, dating is part of the process. Yes. It's an exciting part.
Yeah, it's a journey.
So just embrace the journey.
Love it.
All right. Well, that's it for today, you guys. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, thank you for watching. Follow us on Instagram at thoughtful.conversations and on TikTok at thoughtful.conversations.
We love you guys. Peace out.
Bye.